This Alabama-Georgia game, obviously massive. Right now, I'm leaning Bama in it. I worry about Georgia's ability to create explosive plays offensively. Not as much worried about Georgia stopping the run. I don't worry about Kirby's defense like I don't worry about Lincoln's offense in the grand scheme of things. Where are you at on this game right now?
Well, number one, Georgia's got to get back to running the football. They didn't run the football effectively against Kentucky. And Alabama ain't Kentucky on defense. And everything about Georgia is running the football and then taking shots off of play action. They're as good, if not better, than anybody in college football when they are in rhythm, in sync, and they're dictating terms to the defense. So that's number one for Georgia here. I do agree to some degree that creating explosives to the level that Alabama is capable of is probably not comparable here. But part of the reason why that is you don't have the run element out of Carson Beck. Doesn't mean that they can't create
that's
them.
Another. That's true.
Yeah, Alabama creates them in two ways: through the air and with that guy's feet. So, when I look at Jalen Milroe, he's probably pound for pound the most dynamic athlete on the field. In one defense, Georgia has to defend quarterback run and creative plays, and the other defense, Alabama, doesn't have to do that. I think that it's hard to put a dollar amount on that when you know where the quarterback is going to be. If I'm Georgia and I'm looking at the strengths of Jalen Milroe, I think sometimes you got to take some risks in coverage to account for him taking off on you. Because sometimes the worst thing that can happen is you got everybody covered down,
and then he goes,
and you have nobody to account for him.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Well, and we said in our preview on Monday, which everybody needs to go check that out, a lot of people have, is that to me, and it's not an oversimplification, the margin for error in this game is very small. It's going to come down to 3 to 5 plays like it typically does. But if I'm Kane Womack, Alabama's defensive coordinator, right now in this space and time with this Georgia team, I have less to worry about than if I'm Glenn Schumann and Kirby Smart trying to stop Alabama's offense with that run and throwing element that you just brought up. So that in itself, with the game being at home, and again, I think we are seeing, not that nobody knew this, and not that Georgia has bad players. I think Dominic Lovett's a good player. Oscar Delp's a good player. Yeah. They've recruited their ass off for a long time. They've got really good players. But this game, to me, when you look at those 3 to 5 plays, I feel like Alabama is probably going to be able to make 3 or 4 out of those 5 big plays, and Georgia's going to have to become somewhat one-dimensional. Blaine brought up a point, and you talked about it. Georgia's having to throw the ball right now, way more.
Team. And we're not used to seeing that. Like we're used to seeing a smash mouth football downhill, get after your ass Georgia offense. And right now, we're slowly watching Georgia turn into a finesse offense.
Well, in Georgia defensively, and this has been glossed over, nobody's talking about it. Michael Williams has not played since the Clemson game. Nasir Johnson's been injured. Warren Brinson has been injured. They're trying to rotate guys in a defensive front and have been playing for the last 2.5 weeks without their best players. They need those guys back this weekend, in my opinion, for them to be at full strength and handle a guy like Jalen Milroe. I'll give you an interesting little nugget, though, as I was going through this, because one of the things that Jalen Milroe does so well is throw the deep ball, right? He's a great vertical ball thrower, as Michael Penix Jr. was. What he doesn't do so well is throw to the short and intermediate areas, particularly to the right side of the field. So he's completing upwards of high 60s, low 70s in some portions of the field, up to 80% of his passes. To the right, he's completing 55.
Why do you think that is? I see your throwing side.
Well, to use a baseball term, those are like having reverse splits. That's like hitting better as a righty against righty pitchers than you do against lefty. It's typically the other way.
I'll tell you from my point of view, and Tom, you can answer this too if you'd like, is when you're throwing to the left as a right-handed quarterback, your body's already closed, right? You're already closed off. So when you throw to the left, that's the natural way. To throw to the right, you have to go get more closed, or else you're already throwing open. So when you see Matt Stafford as a right-handed quarterback hitting guys on the shallow cross to his right and his body's already open, that to me is incredible.
Well, look where first base is.
Because I was like, if you said you have to hit a 10 and out, you have to hit a 10 and out right now on third down, I would rather throw it to my left because my body was already closed. So that's an interesting stat.
Yeah, interesting.
I always threw the backside slant, the 10 to 12 yard speed cut out, and the bang 8 post to my left much
way better.
More consistently and accurate
Interesting.
than I threw it to my right side.
Interesting.
God, you talk about things you can only get at Crane & Company. And that's
Yeah.
one of them right there. All right, we got some questions for Around the Nation, Luke. We're going to start off with the Crib 305. Says, Luke, I really need to know right now, is Cam Ward your leader for Heisman, and what has he looked bad at so far this year?
He's not my leader. Travis Hunter is. He's a one. There's a 1 and 1A. He's 1A. They haven't had to leave the state of Florida. They haven't had to play great personnel, but they haven't played down to the level of their competition, and he's made it look easy. At times, guys, he almost looks bored.
I literally said, Tom, I literally opened the show without yesterday, and Blaine was the one, the first time we were watching Miami play against Florida, and Blaine looked, he's like, dude, he doesn't even look like he's having fun. Like he's just playing against little kids.
Yeah, he's just, and I worry a little bit about that. The problem is they don't play Clemson during the regular season. I'm going to tell you right now, Clemson's a problem.
They are a problem.
Right? But they don't play them during the regular season. So I'm trying to look at the schedule with a disappointing Virginia Tech, ironically this week, a disappointing NC State. Trying to look at the schedule and figure out who's going to create problems for them. They have fixed their penalty problem. They have fixed their discipline problem. And the quarterback was the missing piece of the puzzle after revamping the offensive and defensive front each of the last 2 years.
Well, it's amazing how much better you look when young guys can grow when you're not playing Georgia. Just like it's amazing how much better I look when I'm not standing next to Ryan Gosling.
Hey, he was a liability.
He was a
liability.
Ryan Gosling was a liability at corner.
Hey, YouTube, what's up? If you haven't already, please subscribe. We appreciate it. Whether we agree, whether we disagree, hopefully it's a little bit of both. We just appreciate you being here.